How do you turn this damn thing on? Wait. Does the red light mean it's recording? It's flashing. It's on? We're good? Well, in that case, what's going on, everyone? It's LJ, and it's time for a rock and metal update! What's going on, y'all? It's LJ. It's snowy, it's cold, and it's time for a rock and metal update. We're gonna get started and jump in straight away with a grail. Just this past month, I managed to turn up a copy of the 2010 very first EP from Sculpin. I know, before you say, hey LJ, you already turned up a copy of that. You're right, but there's a difference. Limited to 350 copies, this was the very first vinyl release from Sculpin. It was released a year later with a different cover in Austria, although this release skipped the 2 demo tracks that were recorded in 2006 that are included here. Now, along with the raw early demo versions of tracks like Ride the Beast and No False Metal, which is the first time I'd ever heard of, 3 of the 7 cuts here would eventually land on the first and second albums. This is as early as Skullfist gets, and with this, I now thankfully have everything Skullfist has released. It was already obvious, even as early as the 2006 demos that had a different drummer and a different guitar player with Alice in Thunderland and Sir Shred, that Zack Slaughter was born to shoot fireworks out of his ass. Go ahead, laugh, and then look it up, because he did it. High-pitched vocals, shout-along choruses, neck-snapping leads, everything that makes Skullfist Canadian metal royalty was etched in the grooves from day one. Get fisted! Next up from 2015, we have the new 7-inch single from Hittin', Don't Be Late. Hittin's new album is still scheduled to be released in March of this year, and this has 2 new tracks, one from that upcoming album, one exclusive to this EP, and 1 cover. Now, Hittin' is a Spain-based new wave of traditional heavy metal band that was formed in 2011. They released this debut in 2014, and it just blew me away. Now, the new wave of British heavy metal streak from that debut seems to be gone at this point in favor of a more Maiden meets Exciter vibe, which is just awesome. Now, it's really hard to judge based on 1 track that's going to be on the forthcoming album, so I'm sure that streak will be back and it will be absolutely fantastic. Hittin' is clean vocals, high energy, and firmly rooted in the 80s. If you've not checked them out yet, just go ahead and look them up on YouTube. There's stuff there to check out, and you're sure to dig them. Fantastic band. Speaking of Spain, here's another Spanish-based new wave of traditional heavy metal band that I've shown in the past. As a matter of fact, I showed a couple of their albums in my Best of 2015 video, just a couple videos back. Go check it out. This is Iron Curtain, another notch in Spain's belt, and until this EP, it was a band that shared a guitar player, Danny, with the band we last looked at, Hittin'. This has 3 brand new, blazing, killer songs and a killer cover of Raven's Break the Chains, and that makes this a killer EP. Now, with Danny focusing solely on Hittin' full-time, a new member, his name is Miguel, joins Iron Curtain, and he does a killer job. Iron Curtain could most fairly be compared to Motorhead, and Miguel's leads just have that buzzsaw type riffing, crisp drumming, and again, just more Motorhead or even Tank. Do you know Tank? Tank style, in your face heavy metal. I cannot wait for the new album. But in the meantime, the Outlaw EP, 4 songs, 1 7-inch, pure Iron Curtain. Singstar. Who? Sounds like some kind of LA glam thing. Not exactly. Now in 2012, here's the release from Singstar, and it's called Throat Attack. I criminally missed this one when it was released. This is the 2nd album from the Switzerland new wave of traditional heavy metal band. Go Switzerland! Hugely influenced by Screaming for Vengeance era Judas Priest and Power and the Glory era Saxon. killer cover art, fantastic Rob Halford-like vocals and spirit, shredding solos, catchy tracks, and amazing production. This is a textbook example of 80s speed metal worship, and it has been almost impossible to wrench this one from the turntable, spinning it over and over from the day it showed up. Here's the inner sleeve, pretty cool band photo on one side, lyrics on the other, and one thing I thought was seriously cool about this is they made no bones about grabbing inspiration from a center ring from another pretty popular label you might be familiar with. Alright, so let's stop for a minute and talk about Ghost. Ghost is a band everyone is familiar with. So the debut, Opus Eponymous, blew me back in my chair. Wow! Raw! Hugely influenced by King Diamond and Merciful Fate. Fantastic stuff. Using the whole you don't know our identity shtick that Kiss came up with way back when, and others had used before and since, whatever. To do something like that in this day and age, though, is just amazing. Now, the follow-up, Infestum, severely underwhelmed me, as Ghost overplayed their theatrical hand. Now, all that said and all that aside, I was admittedly unenthused for the new released Meliora. Now, it was Freddie from Sweden who convinced me to shoot the dice and check it out. Now, before side one had even halfway played out, my jaw had firmly dropped on the floor. Atmosphere, mood, Uriah Heep, Blue Oyster Cult, thunderous drumming, clean vocals, amazing songs, insane production, just wow. Less raw than the debut, Opus Eponymous, and less theatrical than the second album, Infestum. This was a perfect blend of both. It's an absolutely amazing record. The packaging is off the charts. It comes with a full-page book, and I'm sure this is something that lots of people have shown already, so I'll just show you a couple things here. With the full-color booklet with this cool band photo, artwork that accompanies the mood of each song. The vinyl itself is an absolutely killer pressing. Here's the inner sleeve with another seriously cool picture of the band. And overall, just an absolutely amazing, not to be missed record. Freddie, thank you for convincing me to shoot the dice on it. I cannot stop spinning it. So next up is a release I could not wait for. It was delayed. I wasn't even sure if I'd get it. Some people are saying they got theirs, others not. Thankfully, mine landed. Now from 2015, this is Enforcers Live by Fire. Limited to 500 copies, delayed, and now completely dried up. This box set was over the top and an Enforcer fan's dream come true. Amazingly well recorded. The mix here captures the sound and feel of a classic 80s live album, like think Iron Maiden's Live After Death or Scorpion's Worldwide Live. You know what those 80s metal live albums sound like. It's an all-out, guns blazing live set recorded in 2013 while they were touring for their third LP, Death by Fire, another killer album. And with a scorching set list, they just pulled the best tracks from the first three albums that were available at the time. The energy levels are off the charts, and it wouldn't be hard for a second to imagine the Marshall stacks bursting into flames the second the concert was over, and the building's foundation crumbling into a mountain of dust as the last note was played. Absolutely stellar set and well worth tracking down. Moving on, and we're at least halfway through this stack. From 2014, here is the third album from a band I absolutely love, Sweden's Portrait. Students of the Merciful Fate School of Worship. Full of wickedly burning metal passion, and an homage to, but not a cheap ripoff or imitation of Merciful Fate. Let's face it, Fate's gone, so someone's got to carry the candelabra, and Portrait nails it again, picking up right where their second album left off, and full of haunting, complex, sinister tracks that just reek beautifully of 1984. Well packaged with a nice insert, photo of the band, photo of the cover artwork. The inner sleeve has lyrics, and one of the most cool things that I'm starting to see a lot of lately is that cool old Metal Blade label on many of the new Metal Blade releases. Rip it up like it's 1984, y'all, and check out Portrait. Next out of the gate, again straight out of Sweden from 2015, the new album, the new unpronounceable album title from Ram. Starting to pick up a theme here. 10 years in, and the fourth album from Ram, like every release that came before it, comes out of the gate swinging with a dark, merciful Fate style mood and more of that biting early 80s Accept meets Judas Priest type heaviness and influence that the band has always worn proudly on their sleeves. Add in a few sci-fi elements, Oscar's continually insane vocals, and a twin guitar attack that doesn't let up for almost an hour, and your face is effectively melted. Pure heavy metal. Now this next one, I just missed it when it came out. Shame on me. Now from 2011, here is Saxon's Call to Arms. Now argue that Saxon doesn't always deliver, because they always do. It's just a question of what type of album do they feel like making at the time. Now, Call to Arms is equal parts grandiose, dragon-slaying power metal like 2009's Into the Labyrinth, and it's equal parts riff-driven metal like 1984's Crusader, or a lot like the new one, that Battering Ram that just came out. You know, there's a storyline here for sure, and while it's lost on me like most concept albums are, the production is crystal clear and the whole album sounds absolutely fantastic. Just classic Saxon. Powerful, hammering, and well worth picking up. I'm so sorry I slept on this one for a few years, but couldn't be more thrilled to have it in the collection now. Who doesn't love Slayer? Your mother loves Slayer. In 2015, Slayer, or fans, or somebody, decided to release Satan's Servant. And what this is raw, early Slayer, doing what raw, early Slayer did best, and like no other. Smashed your skull and scared your neighbors. This is 7 tracks from Show No Mercy and Haunting the Chapel, recorded during what is purportedly rehearsals somewhere in the United States in front of a crowd, based on what you can hear on the record, them yelling, small enough to be counted on 2 hands. And it sounds excellent for what it is. It also includes a demo version of Black Magic and 2 live tracks, sadly one of which is absolutely horribly recorded and should have been trashed, but one that was recorded from a soundboard. Both come from 1984 and 1985. Now, limited to only 140 copies, it's Slayer, y'all.
Show no mercy.
And because you gotta pay attention to the old school too, from 1984, here's a record I picked up well over a year ago and just never showed. And it's the debut from Laaz Rockit, City's Gonna Burn. Criminally overlooked Bay Area thrash band. As far as Laaz Rockit goes, this one's probably the least thrashy of the 3 or 4 maybe albums that they recorded and released. But they split in 92, and maybe even more. This one's more US, classic US power metal. Like think the Metal Church debut or the Hellstar debut. Both were released in the same year. It's got fantastic tracks, strong hooks, great high-pitched vocals from Michael Coons, and it's just got that classic, generic, almost muddied production that every metal, mid-80s metal debut from the time had. And if you know this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. It's just that same production. No one stands out in the mix, and that's exactly what you love about this stuff. Here's the back of the album, and this one even had the merch insert in it, which is just absolutely cool. Another fantastic album, fantastic way to start from a criminally underrated and most likely long-forgotten Bay Area thrash band, Laaz Rockit. So the next band isn't from the Bay Area, but from what they sound like, they may as well be. But they're actually from Sweden, and the album's from 1990, and the name of the band is Mesirow. The name of the album is Then Came the Killing. This is fantastic second wave of thrash metal. They had 2 demos, and this one relatively difficult to track down UK import full length, and a cover that still manages to be metal without being very metal at all. But it's kind of just scary. It's excellent. Testament style. Gruff vocals and guitar tone, and great songs. Varying tempos, killer drum fills that actually make you kind of perk up and take note. Wow. It took a long time to track this one down at a reasonable price, and it recently showed up for just that, and I couldn't have been happier to finally land not only a sealed copy, but to add it to the collection. It's a fantastic thrash album. And now, because everything's eventual, and eventually everything comes to an end, here's the last album in this update. This is a 2010 release from High Roller and the band Jaguar, and it's called Opening the Enclosure. And this is one that I had to be on the lookout for the better part of at least the last couple of years. It would show up here and there, and then poof, it's gone. Poof, it's gone. Pricey, poofy, gone.
Pricey, poofy, gone.
You just never really knew. Now, High Roller, once again, does what High Roller has always done, and they just raise the phoenix from the ashes. And this is packed with Jaguar's first and second demos with both singers. You have Rob Rice from 1980, and the second demo with Paul Merritt from 1982 or 83, or both. Packed with photos, tickets, and liner notes from the original guitar player Gary Peppard. The cover art pretty much says it all. It's the perfect counterpart to early Di'Anno era Iron Maiden. Jaguar is still alive and well. This is rough edge, dirty, street ready, new wave of British heavy metal. And this one, I'm pretty sure it came on a couple of different colors vinyl. This one is purple, and to be honest with you, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but just to finally land a copy, who cares? Absolutely killer record. And that's it for this update, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get inspired to pick something up, try something out. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have one, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.